Hey, welcome again to another technique video, Bearclan Jiu-Jitsu. I'm Dustin. The coach here is my son Tristan. One of the things that we like to work on here is having sort of a first move that branches off into a lot of options. For me, one of the things that's kind of useful, like if you're trying to remember a song, you can't remember the lyrics of the song. If you get the first word of the verse, like the rest of the words just kind of pop back into your mind. And so with jiu-jitsu, especially beginners and people that have been training for the first few years, it's sometimes helpful to have sort of your entry move. So that way it can kind of trigger all of your memory of the flowing techniques that connect to it on one side. On the second side, also having really strong attacks that create predictable defenses that you can capitalize on. You want to be able to know what your partner's going to be doing before they do it themselves. And by having a really strong attack sequence, you can create predictable defenses that you can capitalize on as you move forward. So we're going to look at arm drag series from close guard. It's one of my favorite sort of entry moves to use from that position. So from close guard, we're gonna wanna get a cross sleeve grip, okay? Now this can start because they have, lapel grips. You get the cross sleeve, come under, grip break, pass the hand here. What I'm looking for is to being able to block this wrist from him being able to re-pummel and sort of create sort of a dominant sort of grip position here. And so if he doesn't have gripping on me and I'm just reaching here, I'm typically going to take this hand and sort of control what's happening with this hand and pass to here, okay? And then I'm usually bringing my elbow down, creating a strong frame here to help block this. Again, if they have the lapels, you're going to grip break, pass the hand in that sort of zone. We're here. Second grip is going to come up. There's a nice fold of fabric that runs along here that you can get a really good attachment to. In no-gi, we would be going here and here. Okay, in gi, I'm looking for a similar sort of grip here. Okay, I like to go a little bit higher, and that just helps me control a little bit more of the posture. Now, obviously, our typical arm drag, right, from this sort of position is we're pulling forward with our legs as we punch the arm across this way. But let's be realistic. That doesn't happen after your first, 3 months in jiu-jitsu, People know how to posture, resist, and so then you're stuck here in this sort of position. So what I like to do is there's two options. One is we're here and here. This leg is gonna stay clamped on the back, and this one's gonna come up onto the hip. And I use this leverage here on the hip to sort of block the arm as I scooch my hips out from underneath him, and I'm using my leg and my grips to keep his arm still. Most of the time, especially with the bigger guys that I go against, I'm not able to push their arm straight across my body. So my goal is to use my strength to prevent him from moving and then to move my body out and around him. So we're here, this way. Now again, we're not there, so we're gonna ratchet our body around that position. And every time I take an inch or two, I'm pinching and clamping and blocking as I work my way here as my hips come out. As soon as the tip of his elbow is past my center line or my belly button, that's when it's my time to go. That's when I know I've basically cleared it enough to pull him in and to relock my guard, my right arm coming around and attaching into the armpit. Once we're here, this grip is either gonna grab the fabric or his armpit or just hug really tight in here. If we have a moment to hang out here, I'm gonna pull and attach myself. I'm trying to use my sternum to block his shoulder so he can't pull his arm free. I can choose to either keep this sleeve grip for part of this sequence, or I can let it go and open this lapel and pass it to this hand here. If I get this lapel in this grip position, it's so strong that the rest of these moves become significantly easier, and the amount of leverage you can create from this position is very, very strong. Okay, let's pretend though we didn't get this, so that way we can sort of focus on and expose sort of the mistakes that happen from here. Okay, the first is that I'm in this position, And I know I'm gonna go for the back, so I open up my legs to try to climb up, okay? This person's just gonna jump out of my guard. They're gonna pull away from me, all sorts of things, okay? The second, now we're gonna keep our guard locked. We're gonna use our leg to push down on his back to leverage our hips up. But now we're doing that part correctly, and we open ourselves up this way, and he pulls his arm free as we're trying to climb up. So what I'm doing is I'm pushing my knee down into his back. I'm driving my chest forward, and to keep that pressure, I open up my elbow behind me, okay, as I'm driving my chest forward. From this position then, sometimes I stay on my elbow, sometimes I come up to my hand, depending on what's happening with my partner. But this leg is gonna push down on his back as I pull my foot free, okay? What I'm doing is I'm extracting my foot, inserting the hook, and immediately driving my hips behind him and attaching it into my seatbelt, okay? For the simple back take. Then obviously from here to finish, we're gonna drive our partner down over the shoulder, hip escape, insert our hook. We're not gonna just throw our leg over because this person's knee is gonna be up here blocking. We use our seatbelt to open this elbow and bring our heel and insert heel in down like that, right into the little hip pocket, okay? So that's option one, is your main attack is getting to the back. Option number two, on initiating the arm drag. This is when I need a more violent and aggressive sort of around their back. If we're here, maybe I can't get my foot to the hip. They're just strong, their position is there. I can actually put my foot on the ground and I'm gonna violently pull this way as I hip escape this direction. Now they do chase you, but you're gonna be taking space away every movement. So we're here, we hip escape, they move a little bit, we hip escape, we hip escape, we hip escape, and then we close it back up. That whole time I'm moving, I'm punching this arm this direction, and so every movement I'm taking an inch until, again, the elbow is past our center line. Then we immediately throw ourselves up, lock it back up into position. This time we're gonna do the same thing. We take up the space, knees driving down to leverage our hips up. We open our elbow behind us, driving our chest forward. So this is what's gonna happen. It's from this position, the person knows that I'm working to take their back. So they might be grabbing my gi and stuff, but a lot of the times they just hug this leg. They sometimes hug it with their arm. Sometimes they hug it with their body, like your foot kind of gets stuck here. Sometimes they're not even trying to hug it, but just because of maybe their belly, their leg, your foot gets stuck. What we're gonna do is we're gonna climb up like we're taking the back, and our foot is stuck, and now we just drive our hips for a hip sweep right into mount. And it's a beautiful combination, okay? That's option two. So again, we're here, gripping, arm drag, punch and control. So option one, back take. Option two, if our foot is trapped, is the hip sweep. Option three is when they drive into us. Boom, because I'm controlling this arm, and he begins to, sometimes they take this hand and they reach in crossface or grab the lapel, and what they're trying to do is trying to keep me on the ground so that I don't climb up onto their back. And they make the mistake of driving in. So we keep the armpit grip, pulling and holding, and you can see that I'm collapsing this shoulder. My left arm is gonna dive in for either a pant grip or a scoop. Scoop grip is better, okay? In the gi, you can grab the pants, but we just turn and scoop, and then we do our pendulum sweep. So our outside leg is gonna swing out and down and around. This leg is gonna swing forward. And we roll right up into mount. Just remembering to break dance your legs so that you don't roll over your leg. You need to swing it around and down. Let's get it from this other angle here. And then this leg is coming down and around. Like here, and this comes up and over and right into mount. That's option three. The fourth option is an entry into another position, okay? And this is typically when I'm doing the arm drag, especially at a higher level, people really do defend their back well. And so I usually will either get the pendulum sweep or the high guard position. And this is how that works. So we're here in the arm drag. Okay, I'm trying to move out. Again, we're always wanting to work to the side of their body as we're working this position, okay? From here, what they start to do is if they don't drive into me, what they'll typically do is start to hunker back and square up, okay? And as they square up, as they hunker back, I allow that to happen. I keep this grip, and this shoulder starts to work this direction, which I allow to slip and enter into my high guard position, okay? The way that that looks is we're here, he starts to pull away, boom, and I just climb right up into my high guard, right here. If you notice, depending on the person's posture, depending on how they move, you sometimes have to climb your legs. You kind of have to scissor them up their body. Again, we're always working to clamp and keep them in tight. So we're here, he starts to square back up, and I just take it right into position. From here, we have all of our high guard attacking options, okay? We can scoop with a straight arm lock, boom. If this arm is bent, we can grab a quick Americana. Quick wrist lock if it's there. All right, those are the kind of the quick ones, but we always have the traditional scooping the arm. We want to go elbow deep, scoop the leg, and kick over for a tight arm bar. Remembering to not swing our leg wide, but to keep it tight on their head, right around, don't cross your ankles, heels to your butt clamping, elevate, and finish, okay? We're in high guard. Maybe we start to do that and they pull this elbow out. We just keep our ankles locked and transition right in for your triangle. Or maybe you prefer the omoplata. And so as you're sort of attacking here, you start to control this here, they start to pull this out, and you immediately switch into your omoplata attack. So we're not really necessarily focusing on the nuances of the high guard and all the different sort of gripping and how to control that position. We can do that in a future video. But what I want you to see is your main focus from close guard in this attack sequence is setting up a strong arm drag into your back take. And as you force the back take, they're gonna start defending. So you either take the back, they trap your foot and you force the hip sweep. You stay attached, scoop the leg for your pendulum sweep, or they hunker backwards and you climb up into your high guard and then have all of your high guard attacks from that position as well. Hope this helps you out, hope this helps your close guard game, and we'll see you next time. Like, subscribe, check out other videos for more content. Yeah, we'll see you next time.